Hello, I'm James,
Hi, I'm Jimmy,
and welcome to A Job Done Well.
the podcast that helps you improve your performance and enjoyment at work. Hi, James. How you doing?
I'm doing fabulously, would you believe? Always fabulous.
Were you fabulous in winter, or is it just a summer you're fabulous?
No, I think fabulous all the time.
That song out of High School Musical called Fabulous, that should be your theme tune.
I don't think I know.
Look it up, James. You won't know what I'm talking about. So today, James, season finale.
Hey, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. That means I'd have to talk to you for another 6 weeks.
Excellent. Summer,
Everyone's
summer off.
Yeah.
If only that were true. Well, today we are going to cover in our season finale some of the highlights and lowlights from this second season, and we are going to share some of the outtakes because we have lots of them.
Yeah, I seem to be featuring disproportionately largely in this series of
Yes,
outtakes you chose.
Yeah, because I chose them, and B, because you say things you shouldn't. And we're also going to share with you our plans for season 3. So before we get into that, James, what have you been up to?
That's not what I've been up to, is what I'm going to get up to.
Again, you do like to give like a preview
That's
of what's
a
happening.
tease.
See, this is the thing. Last week, what were you up to? You were being an Oxford Don,
Oh, yeah.
weren't you?
It was.
Anyhow.
GM Woodworth went all the way to Oxford.
Yeah.
We look round. It's lovely. It's beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fantastic. Great opportunity for anyone. Anyway, we got in the car on the way back, having driven 3 hours there and 3 hours back. And I said to my daughter, "So, what do you think? Do you want to go to Oxford?" And she said, "No." I said, "Why not?" I said, "Because they don't do the course they do doesn't offer a year abroad." I'm thinking,
You didn't need to drive 6 hours to find
yeah,
that out.
absolutely. I did try. Well, to bloody Oxford and back to find that out. Did that? It says so on the internet, doesn't it? 6 hours in the life way to. Well, I did get to Warrington colleges and very pretty they were too.
Yeah, I'll bet. So what have you got coming up then, James?
What have I got coming up? Oh, well, it's a big weekend. It is the first week my youngest daughter is going away for the weekend. My eldest daughter is away for the weekend. Mrs. Lawther and I are going away for the weekend for the first time together.
Wow.
In, I think 22 years.
She is a lucky lady.
So I'm really looking forward to it.
I bet.
It's going to cost me a lot of money. So whether or not I'm still married this time next week, we shall see how it goes.
Well, unfortunately, that means that our listeners are going to have to wait till the next
Yeah.
season to see how you survive. That is the cliffhanger. That's
Yeah.
it, James. Well done. That will keep the audience coming back for more, won't it?
So what have you been up to then?
Well, I've got a couple of...
You've got two things.
I've got 2 things, work-related things that may help people or not. A couple of habits I've just been building up, James. Now, they both relate to water. The first one is I drink a pint of cold water before I get going for the day, before I have my breakfast or anything. And I have noticed that...
They go to the loo.
No, actually you do. When you first do it, you do. And then after about a week, you're all right.
Okay.
And I notice it really helps my energy through the day. Definitely makes a difference.
Does it? A pint of cold water?
Yeah.
It's funny
Second
because
one.
I crawl out of bed and think, bloody hell, I need a coffee.
Yeah. Before you have your coffee, James, you should try having a
pint of cold water.
Anyhow,
Okay.
second one is when I have a shower every morning, the last bit of the shower, turn the water on to cold.
Okay.
Freezing
Presumably
cold.
this isn't the same water you're drinking later.
Not the drinking water, definitely not. Turn the water on cold, 30 seconds, cold shower. 2 things there, James. First off,
Cold water's cold.
it's freezing. It's
Yeah.
absolutely Baltic.
Bloody freezing, yeah.
But after you've been doing it for a couple of weeks, it's all good. Feels really good. Don't even notice it. Get out, and you're far more alert for the next hour. Puts you on your A game. So there's a couple of hints. But the reason why I've been able to build them into habits is because I listened to James Clear's Atomic Habits, and you attach them to another habit. So when I go downstairs and I take the dogs out first in the morning, I get a glass of water. And then when I'm having my shower, I just last 30 seconds on cold. So because I've attached it to another habit, it's ever so easy to build up that habit. So there you go. Water and how to build up habits.
God, it's a very puritanical there, isn't it?
It does work though, and takes no time at all. Definitely makes a difference. Anyhow, let's get started then, James. So we'll throw in some of the outtakes, and we've got some of the clips of our highlights. But what's your first highlight?
Well, I think overall for me, the highlight of this entire podcasting experience is just the opportunity it's given us to talk to lots of interesting people about lots of interesting subjects, which I know sounds a bit
Not
mundane,
each other, obviously.
No, not each other, no. But if we're doing the podcast, we wouldn't be able to do that. Well, we wouldn't have a reason to do that. So that for me is the absolute standout highlight of the entire thing. Let me give you an example. There's a chap on called Frank Devine who had been looking at HR policies and procedures and how you could make them better. So here's a little clip from Frank.
Was the process all the time. Test, create a hypothesis, test against it. So predict what you think should happen if the theory is correct, and see what actually happened, learn from that, consolidate what worked, and then test through hypothesis and testing different approaches.
So there's a word of wisdom from Frank. There is one of my favourite moments. How about you?
Well, one of the highlights for me was a little bit similar, and it relates to guests, but I thought it was really good to talk about some important subjects that I hadn't really considered in my working life, yet they do impact lots of people. And here I'm thinking about talking to Lou Hines about grief recently, and earlier in the year, talking to Steve Schutz about energy limiting conditions. And actually what struck me was how many people are impacted by these things and how little I and others talk about them and how they impact people's work. Here's a couple of clips to highlight that.
Just so let me quantify that. So it's about 3 million people plus another, 12 million. So I'm talking circa maybe 15 million people who are...
You're talking about 1 in 5 in the country. You're talking about 1 in 3 in the working population.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing is when you went through the list, Steve, of some of the ailments that people could be suffering from, there were things in there where you think, yeah, I know someone who has that. I know someone who has that. You mentioned long COVID. That's a good example. I mean, that's causing, there's a massive issue, and the numbers are growing, as you rightly say.
The person that comes back to work after that is not the same person that left prior to their bereavement. 23% of the UK adult working population will experience a bereavement in a given 12-month period. So that's a quarter of the workforce experiencing a significant loss over the course of a year. And that is just, in that time frame. What about all of the grieving people, all of the people who've had a loss 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago? It still affects you.
So it's, like I say, James, real eye-opener for me. You measured the impact versus how little these subjects are talked about in everyday life.
Yeah. Get interesting couple of talks.
Yeah. What's your next highlight, James?
Well, another one. So like-minded people. So I get to talk, not only did I talk to interesting people, but I got to talk to like-minded people.
Oh, you do like anyone who agrees with you. Who have you picked out who agreed with you?
Well, I've got two. First of all, the world's cleverest computer.
James, it was lovely to talk to you. You asked such insightful questions.
Would you best friend?
Money especially. Yeah, I was listening to something the other day and they were saying how dangerous it is to talk to AI, apparently, because it tends to agree with you. Yeah. And then the other one, maybe slightly more mundane, but probably more my cup of tea, is Mr. Smith.
Fellow KPI guru.
I actually keep a list of interesting KPIs. I know this is sad, isn't it?
Jimmy is closing over a list of interesting KPIs.
No. I mean, these are things. So
it's like what's your favourite Excel function? It's like,
don't get me started. No,
that's another episode for the two of you.
Not joining us.
I'll sit that one out. Bernie does have some great stories. That's definitely an episode worth listening to.
Yeah, it is. His, how you go back and to anything. You really, if you've not listened to that one, you should do, because fascinating things like, how much pizza is flying into the White House at any one moment is a good indication of world stability. What else did you find interesting?
I think the second thing was we saw some really popular episodes. All the episodes did pretty well, but there are a couple of standout ones. So thank you to a couple of our former colleagues, actually, Andy Warren and Vic Grimes, who had 2 of our most popular episodes, and mainly thanks to the fact that they got competitive with each other, trying to share it as extensive as they could, but they really helped spread the word.
Yes, thanks to them.
And also, I think for me, the other thing was really learning new stuff. So we got ourselves up on social media. So we had been promoting ourselves just on LinkedIn, but we branched out onto YouTube and TikTok, and people have been very supportive on both those platforms. But it's just learning new things, I think, as much as anything. And that's been a big feature of this podcast and journey for us, is whether it's the technology, AI to edit stuff, or new platforms, we have learned a lot. So you can teach the old dog new tricks.
New tricks, yeah. Well, I learned something, or reinforced something, which I always thought about TikTok. So which has been our most popular clip on TikTok? Do you know what the JD stands for in JD Vance?
John Derek?
No. Just a killed the Pope. Just a killed the Pope. Vance.
I think, as your jokes go, James, I think that's the worst. You dug the barrel new levels to scrape.
What? That was pretty good.
It just goes to show the value of TikTok, that the worst joke ever is our most popular short. You are nearly TikTok famous, James.
I'm nearly TikTok famous. If you want to be famous on TikTok, you just need to say something stupid.
So what's your next highlight, James?
Well, I suppose actually working with Amanda has been great. So we've had our number 1 guest throughout the series has been Amanda Gilbert, who's been on, she's been on 4, 5?
4, I think 4 this series, and she was our top guest in the first series as well. So yeah.
Although she hasn't been on any recently, she's got sick of us. But it's just a little bit of a clip of Amanda. So if you're listening, Amanda, thank you very much for your help this year.
I'm okay with fuddles. I think, James, you probably haven't been to ones that have been incredibly well managed. The best version, I think, is it's a great idea to bring a team together. Everyone contributes something. And of course, remember to be inclusive. So make sure there's some vegan options, etc.
I think it's not that she's got sick of us, James, but we're working remotely now, so Amanda can't cook us cakes.
But in terms of learning new things,
yeah,
there's other stuff I've learned as well.
Go on. What else have you learned?
Well, so this was from the episode with Bernie. Sorry, look at the camera, James. It's like dealing with amateurs. They said to me the other day, you should never work with children, animals, and southerners. But you can't have it always, can you? Now that, I think, was an insightful piece of learning for me.
It might have been, but you haven't actually followed it yet, James.
Well,
there's another cliffhanger. We won't be back for season 3.
We won't be back for season 3 because Lawther's got divorced and B, no one wants to work with him anymore.
The other things that I've learned, I thought, were a couple of subjects that we in research that maybe weren't experts at, but we wanted to cover. And that was about the importance of belonging. And actually, when we did that, I kind of reflected back on how I felt I had or hadn't belonged to organisations, and also getting in the state of flow.
Yeah, and there are a couple of quotes which I think are quite good. So the one I like is Serena Williams, who has been known to say that when I'm in the zone, everything else disappears. It's just me and the task. It feels amazing.
And another one was Stephen Kotler, who wrote The Rise of Superman. Being completely absorbed by an activity you love to do, where time disappears, that's flow. That's where the best work happens.
Yes, there you go. So actually being productive and being happy, one and the same thing. It's quite an interesting point, I think.
And I think you'll find, to your quote, James, Serena Williams' quote, it is something that a lot of sports people try and achieve, because it is when you do your best work and when you're at your happiest. In terms of top performance and enjoyment, there's loads of stuff in there that I learned. And actually what I was conscious of is that it wasn't something that I had actively tried to get in flow state. I just found myself in it every now and again throughout my working life. Now I'm actually trying to plan in the blocks of work, set myself a target, get the lack of distractions, and then get in flow state. It does make a big difference. So that is something that we researched and learned about, covered in our podcast, and actually I'm doing something different with it now.
Very good. You're going to one of two of the outtakes now. Now, this is something I've got you that you haven't made, but just the ability to tell a new novel, an interesting story, all important when you're podcasting. So here is an example.
Well, I have a good friend who used to work in biscuits, and he told me that were made from the scrapings off the floor at the end of each day. Chuck a bit of chocolate in, job's a good one.
We've definitely done that story.
Well, it used to be my favourite biscuit before we did that story.
But we've definitely done that story. We have definitely done
James, you can't tell me you don't repeat stories.
Well, yeah. Right. Now we're lodging people's memories, mate.
All our stories about like our work experience don't lodge in people's memories.
Yeah, but ones, yeah. And another thing is, I'll end up having to bleep it out, won't I?
Why? Could you?
Because
you can't say.
You have McVitie's coming after you, mate.
James is not a McVitie's piece of IP. And you do understand the concept of being able to be critical of something. Your risk appetite is zero. You can get Sainsbury's do our own brand. That's what I buy them.
You get American whiskey as well.
It's bourbon.
Okay, no.
Well, it's not quite the same. I feel we've digressed.
Oh yeah, God Almighty. And in terms of other things I've learnt, most important thing in this hot weather, it's all about the clothing that you've got. Well, this week I have cracked open. It's been a bit hot.
Yes.
So I have got my phobe out to Mrs. Lawther's dismay. Do you know what a phobe is? A phobe. I looked into it. I said, well, it's so hot. Who knows about hot weather? To which the answer is the Arabs. Those sort of dirty dress things they wear?
No.
They're called phobes. And I've got one, and I tell you, it is the most comfortable thing on a hot day. But Mrs. Lawther, not very impressed.
No, I can understand that. Please tell me there's some photos doing the rounds of that.
I nearly went for the one with the gold trim, because then I thought I'd look like an Arabian prince. Thoroughly recommended for the hot weather.
No, man. Can't believe you acted. Please tell me you didn't get out of the house with it.
No, I didn't. That's okay.
I will cut this out, obviously. But I can't believe you wore one and you think that Mrs. Lawther's ever going to sleep with you again. It's like that. Surely that's got to be the greatest contraception of all time.
I'm 57. Is a bit beyond worrying about that. But I had to go and pick my daughter up from the railway station. I went, put my shorts and my t-shirt on to drive down, because it would be the one time I'd have had an accident, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I'd be poncing around central Nottingham in a phobe. But thoroughly recommend it.
They would lock you up.
Well, absolutely. She did suggest to me, and I said, I'm going to go out for a walk. And she said to me, are you going to put a balaclava on before you go out so the neighbours don't recognise you?
I still cannot believe that you announced that on the podcast.
Did you actually send it out or not?
James, we cut that out first time around just so we could save it for the season finale. You should have worn your phobe today. Well, James, any lowlights from this season?
Only one, but it was a truly groan-inducing moment.
You'll be talking about where we had a guest, and because of the technology, at the end of the recording, we say goodbye and the guest has to stay on so that the recording downloads, and we forgot to tell one of our guests to stay on. So when we said goodbye, understandably, they left.
It took me about 5 hours to recover the files after that. But we did do it. So, Rob, if you're listening, you were the low light of our entire series.
We're not allowing our frontline people to do the thinking that customers need. Let me give you an example. I was in a restaurant a couple of weeks ago. The waitress came over and said, would you like some chocolate truffles? And thank you very much. She brought over a plate of 4. And there were 5 of us. So we said, oh, actually, there's 5 of us. We have an extra one. She said, oh, no, they only come in plates of 4. So I could bring you another plate of 4, which she did. So we now had 8 between 5 of us. But it's a really great example of where the process was just obviously stupid. The waitress could see that. We could see that. And yet she was not allowed to deviate from that process.
Fortunately, James, it was worth the wait.
It was very good. Enjoyed that one.
My low light was the fact that, as that example just shows, our second line IT support is you. One of the things that we did up until Christmas of this season is we were recording them, all our episodes, more or less face to face. And that's much easier to have the conversation and all the rest of it. But then when we switched to doing video, which has gone down really well, and the shorts that we've done have got literally tens of thousands of views. But the downside is we can't figure out how to make the technology work for us to record video when we're in the same place. So every week we're having to record remotely, and that's been an absolute pain in the arse in many ways. So yeah, the technology is wonderful when it works, but like anything, when it doesn't, it's an absolute pain. So that, I guess, was a low light.
No, you're absolutely right. Not sitting opposite you face to face every week, it's just been hideous.
Well, James, you can be sarcastic, but it meant we didn't eat anywhere near as much as cake, seeing as we used to have a cake every time we did a recording.
True, yeah. So go on then, what's happening over the summer and what we're doing about season 3?
So season 3 will be back in September, and we are going to carry on recording episodes over the summer. We've got some interesting guests lined up. If you've got any ideas for guests or any ideas for subjects that you'd like us to cover in season 3, because in fairness, a few of our episodes in season 2 were from suggestions from our audience. So if you've got any suggestions for season 3, just get in touch.
So over the summer, also what we're going to do, because you might be thinking, oh, how am I going to survive over the summer without their dulcet tones in my ears? But we're going to share some of the more popular content over the year. So you'll see some flashbacks over the summer as well.
So thank you to everyone for all your support with season 2. Well, hope you have a fantastic summer. And we look forward to seeing you in September when you can find out how James got on his first weekend away with Mrs. Lawther for over 20 years.
Yeah. Something to look forward to, a cliffhanger.
Yes, that and the fact that you shouldn't work with Southerners. So we'll see if we're still talking come September.
Yeah. See you later.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers. Very good. Sounds quite exciting. Reminds me of that song, doesn't it? Do you remember that? Was it Colonel Abrams? I've got power.
No, Snap.
Was it Snap? Sorry, I do apologise.
Colonel Abrams was trapped.
Lord, I'm trapped.
Like, I'm in a key. I'm trapped.
Yeah. Mid-80s, here we go.
Yeah.
Right, we might cut that bit out. Right.
I think we should.